And there's the green light. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Try to make this less weird and awkward. We're going to play some guitar tonight. I'll tell you about my lovely location here, which is turning out to be a bit of a nightmare, but it is what it is. So, let me go post a link over on our website. The website is denverguitarorchestra.com. And tonight we have 4 levels, as always, on Wednesday night. We have book 1, which is the intro book, obviously, duh. And we are playing, what are we playing tonight? We are playing Row, Row, Row Your Boat as a follow-up, so we should be doing good on that at this point. Well, whether you're doing well on it or not doesn't matter. We're going to work on it a little bit more tonight, and then we are going to start Three Blind Mice, which is a tough one. So getting pretty close to wrapping up book 1, and then book 2 tonight is Buffalo Gals and Carnival of Venice, and then book 3, Amazing Grace, America the Beautiful. Both those songs are, and then, but don't worry, we got good ones coming. And then tonight we finish up the Carcassi, and we start a new one, a new waltz, which is really a beautiful waltz, and you're gonna love playing it, I think. Let's see, I think I have all of my things set properly here, so that's there. And then if I go here, I should be able to. I started doing this weird thing. I don't know what the heck it's doing these days. All this used to be automatic, and then Apple did some kind of an update, and now everything I have to retype. But we don't question the Apple Corporation, do we? We can question the government, we can question our doctors, we can question science, we can question foreign nations, but we do not question Apple Incorporated. Let's open up this and hit tweet. Alright, so we've tweeted, we posted on YouTube, posted on the website. That's about all we can do, right? I am in my house tonight because it's snowing outside and I'm not going out there, it's terrible, and so you will hear the heater coming on, and I apologize, not anything I can do about it because I didn't go outside because it's cold out there, and so I'm not going to have to turn the heat down either. So we're just going to listen to the heating contraption coming on from time to time, and that's it. Welcome to my bedroom. Our house is being remodeled, and so as weird and as creepy as it is, this is where I sleep. And I play guitar kind of over right there, and the back bedroom has turned into such a nightmare. I can't even get into the bedroom anymore. So I'm like, you know what? We'll just play here until I get some. We're getting closer. We got one of the bathrooms back in service today, so it's a long way from finished, but at least it's something, right? And so we'll take what we get. We also got the doors partway put on, so some of the doors are actually back in the house, and yeah, it's all been very exciting. So there we are. Linda, the sound and video are good. Good to see you, Linda Schmidt. Hello, Linda. So we got our 2 competing Lindas, the good Linda and the bad Linda. Vic is in. Sound is good. Just got 4 score out. It's amazing. Isn't it wonderful? I've talked about a little bit and probably not enough, right? Most of you guys will be using a 3-ring binder. Perfectly fine. I will tell you I did that for 15, 20, 25, how many years? I probably got my first binder when I was 35. 35, and I'm a lot more than that now. So 25 years of almost of playing music with a binder. Last year during the pandemic, because we were doing so much sheet music, I went ahead and paid this ridiculous sum of money for the big iPad. I don't know, it was a stupid price. And I will never ever go back to the 3-ring binder. I'd rather quit music. So yeah, so if you haven't looked into it, start saving money for an iPad, because we don't question Apple Incorporated, and then get Fourscore. It really, really is. And I haven't even used all the features of Fourscore yet. I just use basic page turns and library organization and stuff. It's wonderful. And so Vic also gave a rousing support of it. So hey Gary, welcome in. Enjoyed watching the concert on YouTube. Yeah, hopefully you guys had a chance. Linda and Vic were in the concert, which is very exciting. And you didn't know that, but I knew that, and so I think I'm the one who's supposed to worry about stuff like that. The nice part about Linda and Vic playing in that is that every single note that they played was perfect. Every single note. So I mean, they're really killing it there. Also, guys, we will be starting to post the Spanish. As soon as I get it written and cleaned up and ready for posting, I will start posting the Spanish guitar music for the large group. As in the next, certainly by the end of the week, I'll post a little bit of it, and then over the next month or so, we'll be getting plenty of that. And so the thing I like about the large group music is that there's a part for everybody to play. So as long as you're reading melody tabs, as long as you have survived book 1 and maybe a little bit of gotten into book 2, you can come play with the large group. You may not be great, you may not be fast enough, you may not necessarily have the first season be the greatest season of your life, but it is a really, really helpful tool for getting better and faster and oftentimes at home we just play at whatever speed it comes out of our guitar, and when you're in large group you have to play at the speed of the group, and so it serves as a metronome, right? And so when I sit down and play with those guys, I'm like, gosh, I gotta work a little bit harder than when I'm working just at home. And so give it some thought as we go along. The other thing, Linda and Vic, I guess I'm looking toward you for your input here. We've talked about it in the past, and we've stuck with YouTube as our primary vehicle. It's easy for me because it records the video automatically, and then at the end of the session, I just stand up and walk away from the computer. It is possible for us to do the same thing on Zoom, kind of. And if you feel like you would rather use Zoom, that way I can see your face and we can have a little bit more of a togetherness feeling. We still can't play with microphones on because there is a sound lag. So I'm not entirely sure that Zoom does much for us other than you get to see each other. And so I'd like, just a little bit of feedback about whether you guys are still cool with sticking with YouTube. I'm perfectly fine with that, but if you wanted to use Zoom instead, I'm not unwilling to change. I just thought it's kind of fun at the orchestra concert to get to see you actually playing. So let me know what you think about that. And Vic agrees with me. The orchestra is fun, but it's challenging. I'd say it's more challenging than fun sometimes. But once you get to the concert, it is fun. It's worth the work that you put in. All right, let's get going. You guys will give me some feedback on Facebook and YouTube, or not Facebook, Zoom and YouTube. Vic says YouTube's fine. Yeah, she and I have spent a lot of time on YouTube over the last 2 years. I know what she looks like because she sent me some stuff. So. And I know what Linda looks like, too. I know what the other Linda looks like. I know what Gary looks like. So I know what some of you look like. All right, good. Grab Row, Row, Row Your Boat. We worked on this last week. This is what I consider to be the most important song in Book 1 because it actually gets you the chance to do what's going to turn out to be real chord changes, right? Then you're going to go from this D chord to this D chord and back. So they're both D chords, but you got to move quickly. By the way, I got a message. We have a woman in Japan, and I don't dare pronounce her name because I can't. Who's been watching our videos, and she's done some rethinking and some refingering on some of this, and it was very, very wise and very smart. And so, sometimes does that make sense? Heck yeah, absolutely, it makes sense. And so, she was having a hard time with this D chord with the 5, right? And which is possible. And you can then, you could just put a bar on 5. Look around for a nice tone that you like, right? Let's see. We could probably best use. Let's see. Let's do A. Nah, A's too bad. Oh, that's G. G. Yeah, that's too high. F, E chord. G, still too low. In any event, she went ahead and said, you know what if I make the 5 the main chord here, and I start. Okay, I can't use the same shape as a D chord, because that's if it's a D chord here, it's an E chord here, and it's an F chord there. But she went ahead and took some liberties with adjusting the fingering, and it worked. And so don't be shy about doing stuff like that. If there's something you can't get to, obviously the melody note's important, but you can also then start fishing around for other shapes in that neighborhood and see if you can find a cool way to play it. The thing I was most delighted with is she figured out when you're down here, this D chord is also sitting down here right on top of that. Right. Now you got to get your 12 on here with your ring finger, but it is sitting there. So you could theoretically play the whole thing from there. It sounds a little different, but it's, it does work. So, Linda, I'm good with YouTube because I can put you up on my TV on the Roku box. Heck yeah, man! I'm probably really big at her house. Yeah, and I do like the fact that YouTube is just magically archived. We don't have to think about it. All right, so we'll stick with YouTube for now, and if you come to the point where you're like, no, we must do Zoom, I'll be willing to listen to you. All right, now let's go into get your D chord on. Big thing to remember with D chord is you really, for most of the time, you want to be plucking on the 4th string. Okay, and you see that on the D chord shape on your paper. It says, yep, you can play this D string open, obviously, because it's a D chord. Okay, you can also play the A string open. It doesn't sound quite as good, that A is vibrating as an A as your bass note, which is, it's okay. It's not great, but it still sounds okay. It's when you hit this string up here that you have a problem, right? So don't hit that top string. And it's also why on electric guitar, that's the time when people will pull their thumb up over the top and stop that string from ringing. If you hit that string in a D chord, what happens is all this crazy information goes down into your amplifier, and your amplifier starts to lose its mind, and so you have to stop this string from ringing. That's why you'll see guys that are plugged in, they often will be bringing their thumb up over the top, and that's the only time I can picture that you need that. So if you're not an electric guitar, you don't really need to do that. All right, let's see how you did this week. Okay, I'd like to play Row, Row, Row Your Boat 3 times through. First time with chords, second time with the melody, third time with tough acts. Okay, so not fast any of the times. And remember, we're in 6/8, so there's 2 beats in each measure. Okay, I'm going to sing. I'm working on getting better, you guys. First note is a D. Row. Probably too high. Try this one. Row. There's my note. Row. Here we go. 1, 2. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Melody. How'd we play? Did we get it? Okay. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it exactly the same way. Your big thought here is which way am I doing it the least good, right? That's the way I'm going to go practice, and which way am I killing it, right? And in that way, you probably don't need to go spend a ton of time on it. And hopefully, the one that's going well for you is when we're playing melody. And if that's going well for you, and if you're keeping up, you absolutely should be thinking orchestra. Okay, I'm always trying to sell the orchestra, right? All right. All right, same exact thing. Chords first, melody second, tough X third. 1, 2. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Melody. Tough X. So those are the three ways that you will be playing every piece of sheet music, and from now on when we get together, right? We'll almost always be tackling chords, and that's for those of you guys who like to sing. And for those of you who hate to sing, you're still probably going to, at some point in your life, have to play guitar with somebody who does like to sing, and your job will be to do the chords. And so we want to have a good foundation for that. Playing melody is how we get started in orchestra, and how honestly most guitar players never learn to play melody because they strum and sing. And so that's the most important thing that I think I teach, and it's the most important thing I want you to get really comfy with. And then finally, tough acts, obviously that's what sounds good. That's really what you want to play. And so spend a little bit of time on that. Make sure all of that's going nice and smoothly for you. Let's talk about something that's not going to go quite so smoothly, and that's Three Blind Mice. So let's switch over to that piece of paper. We're going to talk about it this week. This is far and away the toughest piece of music in book one, and can be a little bit too tough in some cases. So I'll show you some ways to make it a tiny bit easier. First of all, we got to learn G chord. G chord is one of these things that's going to come up every day of your life, and it's stupid the way it's set up. So index finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, middle finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, ring finger is going to be down here on the 1st string, on the 3rd fret, and you just give this a nice strum. Orchestra is fun. I don't know why, but I really feel like you are part of a community, a very small community. No, it's not true. In community settings, people don't usually do guitar orchestras, right? It's not common in community settings, but it's very common in academic settings. And so you're joining that group of guitarists that play music in that particular manner, which is, hey, everybody's got their own part, everybody's going to be doing their own thing, but when we get together, it sounds pretty cool. And so it's much less common as a way of playing guitar in the community, but very, very common in academia. All right, so here's your G chord. So you're joining that community. Okay. Three Blind Mice is in 4/4. So again, I'm going to sing, and I apologize. And then what I would do with this one is thumb on the 6th string. That's your G note. That's a G up there. And then these 3 fingers down on the bottom 3 strings. Okay? So you're actually skipping 2 strings. You're skipping 4 and skipping 5. You're not going to even use those. Let's play Three Blind Mice. 4 beats in a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. They all went after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as three blind mice? Okay, and I put in 3 beats on the end, but you can put on as many as you want. Now that gets kind of boring, right? So you could strum it. 3 blind mice, 3 blind mice. You should practice some of that stuff. I don't spend a lot of time on that. But the real cool one is arpeggio picking. Thumb, index, middle, ring. And use the top strings. Use the 6, 5, 4, and 3 strings. So on top of the 6th string, and then your index finger is going to go underneath the 5th string, middle finger underneath the 4th string, ring finger underneath the 3rd string. Okay? And so you get just the 4 lowest strings. Okay? But instead of plucking them all at once, do them thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. I'm going to speed it up. See how they run. See how they run. They all went after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life? 3 blind mice. Okay, so the idea there is we're going to start. By the time you get into book 2, we do this quite a bit. Is doing some plucking, taking that claw shape, which we typically just do them all at once, and start dividing them up. And when you first start, it's really crazy. Like your hands are not, your fingers are just, they're going to be like, no, we're not doing that. But a little bit of practice and you'll get it. Thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. And it ends up making you sound really good. If you are a singer, particularly, I think a lot of arpeggio picking with your right hand is really going to make you sound a lot better. That's what Dolly Parton does. Her right hand is amazing. All right, let's play the melody. This should be getting where it's sort of a thing, right? Like it's something that's going to happen just fine for you. Everything's in first position, so index in the 1s, middle on the 2s, ring on the 3s. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cat Henry. He will be coming through about 10 times. He does laps whenever I'm on the computer. The cool thing about that is the melody's all right down here, right? It's not just like Farmer in the Dell and Frere Jacques. Those are all the melody hangs out down here. Row, row, row your boat. It runs all over the neck, and the first one, Brother John, it runs all over the neck. But this one, it stays down here. When it stays down here, theoretically, that should make playing the tough acts easier. However, you're on the G chord, and the G chord is really has a tendency to be pretty unpleasant. So you know how 2 minutes ago I was talking to you about making your G chord index, middle, ring, right? The problem with that is it's not going to work particularly well in that shape for the tough acts. So when you get ready to dive into the tough acts, change this out to middle, ring, and pinky. That's going to leave your index finger open to do some stuff. Okay, so you've got middle, ring, and then pinky down there. Same chord, just different fingers. Okay, so that way, and you're going to work on it this week. This is tough. Okay, so the first one is 3 2 0 0 0. So you just strum down. Make make sure your thumb stops on the first string. You're not going to play it. There's no number on there, so it'll rest on top of that string. Okay. Then your index finger's got to jump in here in the back of everybody on the 2 of the 3rd string, and then you strum that. And you're not going to play the 2nd string, so again, let your thumb rest there, and then take your index finger off. And then there's a little decorative note, your pinky on the 3. Ow. And then we do the same thing again. Okay, now here's what's weird. Okay, G chord is going to turn out to be one of those chords that in the beginning you hate and then eventually you love it, but it takes a little while to get over the hump. This pinky, we're now going to put that on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. Okay, and that's going to be your melody note there. Play that. Then you have to trade it out for the 1. It's way over here. Pick that up, lose your pinky and add the index finger, and then lose your index finger. Again, the decorative note. Do that whole idea again. This time it's not a decorative note, it's part of the melody, and it's on the 2nd string, so make sure you get your pinky onto the 2nd string. And then drop it back up to the 1st string. And now we're going to strum all the way down and use all 6 strings. Got to use your index finger to get the 202 here. Let me hit it right. There's after the, and then your pinky goes back on. And then it jumps over to the 2nd string. Grab the top string, index finger on the 2, and then O2, back to your pinky, 2 more 3s, top string, and then open. Okay. Now, right now, my hand's going, ow, right? That is a really, really particularly unpleasant activity, this song. But really, one of the nice things about it is it's going to help build your muscle right in here, which is going to be helpful for you down the road. Well, it'll be helpful for you right now, to be honest, is getting this hand and this muscle a little bit stronger. And so if you don't play this one particularly well, it's fine. This is really, really a hard song. And it gives you a chance to really work your G chord and really start building the strength up in your hands, which is going to be important. All right, so that's your song for the week, 3 Blind Mice. If Tough Axe is too tough, then don't worry about it. We have plenty of other tough songs down the road, so don't let it ruin your life. All right, end of book 1. Book 2. Dun, 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 dun. Book 2, tonight we are playing Buffalo Gals from last week. Let's see. Let's do it this way. Let's do the first time through, let's play Tough Axe. Right off the bat, right out of the box. Okay, because it's the G chord. Look at there. Let's do that one time through. Then and if that's too hard, obviously switch to melody. Then the second time through, we'll do melody. And then I want to sing the song. It's really a silly little song, but it's super fun to play. And so you get to hear me sing the whole stupid thing. But I like the words. So Tough Axe first, or melody, then let's strum this one. When we get to the strumming part, remember you're on G chord and D7. Okay, and that's coming up in your life, so it's a good one to get comfy with. From the top, Tough Axe first, please. 1, 2, 3. play the melody from the top. 1, 2, 3. Just one moment. If that's going well for you, make it harder on yourself. Index, middle, index, middle. If I go, let's just look at measure 9. It's switching out between these two is something you're going to want to do, especially if you're doing the classical music. I'm going to get where you can see these two fingers. You want to be able to, maybe not every single time, but practice trying every other note. Index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. I got a long way to get really good at that too. But one of the younger guitarists over at school is one of the finest guitar players I've ever watched play, and his hands are just like this, right? That just every finger is completely independent of each other, and he has complete control of them. Looks like he's barely touching the strings because he's just so good at them. And so it is something that's definitely worth working on. All right, we're gonna play the whole song. Chords. A lot of singing here. Please know I know what a terrible singer I am. 1, 2, 3. As I was walking down the street, down the street, down the street, a pretty little gal I chanced to meet. Oh, she was fair to see. 2, 3, 4. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? I upped her and we had a talk, had a talk, had a talk. Her feet took up the whole sidewalk and left no room for me. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? What's the next verse? I asked her if she'd have a dance, have a dance, have a dance. I thought that I might have a chance to shake a foot with her. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? I danced with, well, let's go back to this one. I danced with the gal with a hole in her stocking, and her heel kept a knocking, and her toes kept a rock. I danced with a gal, the hole in her stocking, and we danced by the light of the moon. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Right. So that's how most people play guitar. The reason we don't, obviously, is because you'd have to listen to me sing all the time, which would cause you to run away in terror. But you should do that some too, right? It doesn't matter if you're a terrible singer. It matters that you get pretty good at knowing where your timing is for doing your chord switches, and you get faster at being switching chords. All right, that's enough of Buffalo Gals. That's way too much on Buffalo Gals. And by the way, whatever town you're in, change it to your town, to Denver Gals or Eugene Gals or Vancouver Gals, right? Or boys. I guess you could change it to the fellas too. All right. That's it for Buffalo Gals. Let's move on to classical music. Let's do a piece of Paganini next. Paganini is was actually a guitarist, and he wrote some pretty nice guitar music. This was not a guitar piece, but I like to say that it is. Let's talk about the 2 chords you need for this one. These 2 are way harder than the other stuff. Okay, so you got a C chord, index, middle, ring. And try not to hit the top string. It's okay if you do, but try not to hit the top string. That's your C chord. And then G7, to get to G7, you drop your index finger, and then these 2 fingers go up. Okay. And then to go back, index finger up, these 2 down. Probably the least friendly chord pair, I think, except for F and C. Unpleasant little chords. And right now, everybody who plays ukulele is like, well, that's not good. Ukulele, it's just right. It's way easier on ukulele. But you're not going to probably play the chords here because there are no words, right? So let's learn the melody, and then we'll talk very briefly about the tough acts because it'll keep you busy. Okay, so let's start. I see 3s and 5s, right? And then I'll see some 1s. So I got a choice. I can either do my 3 and 5 here, right, which isn't really very pleasant, or I could put my middle finger on the 3. That makes getting the 5 easier. And then I just reach back for the 1, and that's probably the smarter approach to that. Middle finger on 3. So let's try that. 2-beat count in. 1, 2. Two. You got an 8 here, right? So jump your pinky, start with your 3 on the index finger, and then come back to the 3. Whoops. There it is. So let's go back to where that 8 came in. I should have talked about that before we took off. So if you're at measure 23 and you're on a 0, go to measure 23, 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that's the point when you're getting your index finger on 3, and you got to reach all the way up to 8. So it's 5, 6, 7, 8 with your pinky, right? So that's quite a stretch. And then all the way back to the 3. Hit the 3 twice. Committed to messing up measure 30. But so when you see an 8 coming, you're like, oh gosh, what am I going to do? Get this in the lowest the highest low position you can, which is that 3 index, and then jump up with your pinky. Okay, and you may, depending on how big your hands are and how big your guitar is, you may have to hit this, abandon this, slide up and hit the 8, right? And it's not ideal. If you've got bigger hands, it'd be perfect to keep that ringing and then get your pinky. right? But even for me, that's a long stretch. And then come back to the 3. The last 3 in that measure kicks you back up to the beginning. The page breaks here is a little unfortunate. Maybe I'll make myself a note to fix the page break. Fix page break. It would be really nice to have that 8 be significantly onto page 2, right? All right, so that's the melody. Dun, 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 dun. You probably heard that before. The tough axe is pretty busy. There's a few things here I want to talk about. Here's a 3. And then that 5-5-5 is exactly what you think, a little bar chord. Or all 4 strings. Grab the 3. And then look how hard this C chord is going to be. Not only is C chord hard enough, but the melody is the wrong note. It's an F. And so you've got to get your C chord on, plus hold down your index finger as a little bar. So it covers 2 strings here and here. And then you hit the open. And then your G7. And then you've got to put your pinky there. That motion right there, those first 3 measures, that's plenty hard enough, right? And then here's the C chord. A couple of decorations. Pinky again. Little bar on 5. C chord while you're holding the 3, and then a G7, pinky, G7, pinky, 5, regular C, pinky, regular C chord, G7, but the index finger's on the wrong string. Now it's on the right string. C chord. Okay, here we go. Now this is challenging. You're going to probably have to hit the pinky with your 3. And then you want to get a bar up here on 5 and your pinky up on 8. It looks just like that. And then you got to rush back down to get the 3 again. I'd probably use my pinky here because you want to get your C chord on next. Oops. Pinky. Just a partial C chord here. Notice your rest stroke here. Okay, stop, and then you're not going to use that first string. Okay, and then the last time you come through, when you get to measure 32, and you have the same C chord. Okay, and when I go from that 3 up to that 8, I'm probably going to drag the 3 along. It'll sound cool. And I would do that on down at the bottom of page 2 there at measure 24 into 25. Just take your pinky and drag it in there. It'll sound kind of cool. This is a pretty challenging tune, guys. So if you're fighting it, you should be. It would make sense to me. Probably one of the harder ones in book 2. There's a bunch of book 2 that are pretty hard. So this is one of them. And again, if you're fighting the tough axe, don't lose sleep over it. You can come back around to it and run through the rest of the book and then come back. All right, that's Carnival of Venice. If you're on book 2, that's your song for the week. Good luck with that. That's a lot. All right, let's move on. The next 2 we'll get through pretty quickly, and then we will wrap up with our what you call it, classical stuff. Amazing Grace we did last week. Should be able to just play that one. That's one of the easier ones in book 3. So let's do that. Let's play Amazing Grace. C chord, F chord, and G chord. You got your F chord in there, right? But not on the tough axe. Okay, so practice it with singing C chord, F chord. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that right? So getting that F chord on is something that in the beginning, if you're lucky to get it even close and you get that sound, that's normal, right? That's what you're supposed to sound like when you're getting started. F chord at some point will be, a little better. I still didn't get it perfect. That's what you're looking for, but be patient with yourself. If your F chord sounds like that, that's normal. And we don't need to do the melody. This is too easy of a melody for you guys. So let's do the tough acts. Why don't we let's just play the tough act one time through. Okay, from the top, grab your C chords. 1, 2. Shake your left hand just a little bit to get a tiny bit of vibrato in it. It's kind of hard on a C chord. I think when I redo this book, I'll probably put in a repeat in here. It feels like we don't get quite enough done just playing it once. Just for fun, let's play the chords. I can't sing it, but give you a chance just to try getting your F chords on, nice and slow. 1, 2. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Okay, again, the F chord is not gonna just happen overnight, right? It's one of those where you miss it for a couple of years and then one day it shows up. Okay, so be patient with the F chord. Just because this is lesson number 10 in your life doesn't mean you're supposed to be able to do it. All right, next song up in the book is America the Beautiful. I don't know. This is an okay song. There's got one moment in it that's actually pretty cool, but for the most part, this song is it'll work. The thing in Colorado, the Purple Mountain Majesty is she wrote that. She was inspired to write that line because she went to Pikes Peak, which is down the street from me. So G chord. This one probably is going to use the fancy G chord. That's your regular G chord here, but instead of your your ring finger on the first string, it goes on the second string, and then your pinky jumps up on the first string. That's a real handy fancy G chord. It gives you a lot more oomph on the high strings. So you probably want to work on that one a little bit. Oh, beautiful floor. Okay, and you guys already know D chord. You've done that a million times. Spacious skies. 4. A minor, I don't remember if we've talked about. Oh, we talked about it in Drunken Sailor. So index finger on the second string, and then middle and ring here. It looks exactly like an E chord, but everybody's moved down one string. It's probably the third best chord on a guitar. Right? For amber, and then D7, just move those two down. Wave. And those of you guys that have done ukulele, that's the D minor to the G7 motion. Right here it's A minor to D7. Waves of, and then fancy G chord again. And this takes a little while to get where you feel comfortable getting it on. Rain Your purple mountains, majesties. Now remember with the E7, it's just your E chord. Make your E chord and then just lift up your ring fingers. Above the fruited A chord plain. America, God shed his grace on thee. And I put a regular G chord in there because you're going to go to your G7. And so you're probably going to want to make that first G chord with the fancy one we talked about in Three Blind Mice, and then move it over. And crown thy good with fancy G chord, brotherhood from A7. You can do A7 as an A chord with your middle finger up, or just use these two fingers, index and middle. And sometimes I end up using middle and ring. Whatever works. C2 shining sea. And I got the fancy G chord on there. Okay, so the chords are a lot on this. It's a lot of work. What am I trying to say? The tough axe here is no harder than the strumming, I don't think. You get your G chord on, hit your 3. D chord here, plain as day. Middle finger up. Ring finger up. A regular A minor. Pinky. D7 open on the bottom. And then add it. And this is why you want your fancy G chord, because you want your ring to get comfortable up here on the second string. Some decorations. D chord here. Here's where things get a little messy. Put your pinky on 5. And then you notice E7 is, we did it this way back here. Right, but on the tough axe line, it looks exactly like a D7, but it's moved up to the 3rd fret. So all you're doing is taking your D7, turning it into a D sharp, E. Okay. And so that's what's going on there. Is you've just got your D7, but it's up on 3, so now it's an E7. And then 7, 5, 7. Slide this up. Put these two guys here. Those of you guys that do ukulele, you've already done this a zillion times. And again, this bar on 2, pinky on 5. That's going to come up a lot. Middle finger to get the 3. Page 2. That's 7, 8, 7, right? Slide it up here. This is what I love about this song. 0, 0, 5. A minor with the 3. D7. Pinky on the 3, and then nice bar on 5. 7. Partial bar. 7 on the other string, and then G chord. G7, 5, G chord. If you're finishing it up. Alright, so whichever works for you. It has 8 chords. Thanks for counting, Vic. That's not good news, right? It does have a lot of chords. It's worth it. It's a nice little arrangement, and singing it, I don't know. To me, it's like, whatever. But when you do the tough acts, I think you really get something that's kind of fun. Plenty to keep you busy. Like probably if it were me and I needed to play this for somebody, I'd probably spend 3-4 weeks on it. So you guys get 1 week because we always keep moving forward. So probably dig into this one just a little bit. It's definitely it's definitely playable. It's just got a few things on here that we don't see in some of the other songs, and that will become a normal thing to happen in book 4, where you'll be like, I don't know what the heck is going on here. And every measure has something that's like, oh geez, what are they doing to me, kind of thing. So yeah, 8 chords. I don't think I ever counted. All right, there's America the Beautiful. That'll keep you out of trouble. Let's go grab the Carcassi real quick. Those of you guys that are just doing fingerstyle, you're done. We're gonna go play a little bit of classical music here. Thank you guys for being here. By the way, if you are not doing the classical, I get it. It's a little bit different way of playing. Not a lot, but just enough different where you're like, I don't think I really need that in my life. Let's try this. I have unfortunately been practicing another song all weekend, so I felt like, yep, I got this thing down. And then of course now that I'm sitting here looking at it going, I'm like, I don't know how it's going to go. We're not going to go fast. We're not even close to 72. We'll take our time and we'll get through it. Oh no, Vic's up to 9 chords. She forgot C, right? All the other chords except C. All right, Vic, it's got 9 chords. Jeez, it's a hard song. This one only has this one really has a lot of, feels like a lot of chords, but really not. When you sit down and look at them, they're just different shapes that are goofing around on the fretboard. Nice and slow, don't rush. 1, I'll count in 2, I guess, and then we'll go 1, 2. Let me get on the right fret. What do you think? Let's start from the beginning. All right, from the top. 1, 2. Note. Now go back to measure 9. Okay, back to measure 9. Put your C chord on. Go. G chord. And that's it. So it's really like I had way too many pauses between major chord groups, and so the goal, and I'm going to be working on this for a while, I have to probably play this at my juries this year, is to get that as smooth and as fast as possible, right? So that you just blow through it. And basically I'm in the process of memorizing where my chord shapes are, so I don't have to look at the paper at all. I'm not quite there yet, but you get the basic idea. The real issue is it's helping you start to develop some independence with this hand. And so I think we're going to have a lot more Carcassi coming at us. I'm going to give you guys the same ones I'm working on, and whether it's, if it's above you or whatever, that's perfectly fine. Or if it's below you, whatever, right? Carcassi is sort of one of these names in classical guitar you're supposed to do. And so I'm going to kind of do them. I'm going to recommend my teacher tell me, what's the easiest ones first? Right? There's 25 of them to do, and we'll eventually do them all. Oh, Linda says I sound very nice. I sounded okay, thank you. Got a lot more work to do on that one. Let's talk about one you're going to love playing, and that's this Waltz and E Minor. If you haven't already taken a chance to peek at it, do it. This is one of these, those of you guys that are putting up with classical, this is the thing you want to do. This thing is really, really nice. And if you look at it, what you see is there's two things going on. One, there's a melody and there is a bass, and they're working together. And so anytime you see a measure 1 with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, you're like, oh, I like that song already. So this week, I don't really need to play through this for you. Go listen to it on the MP3 and you'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to play. What am I on? 2 and 2, right? Sorry. Isn't that a fun moment? To the top. That's the fun part. That's the part I like the best is measures 30, 31, and 32. Then you go back to the top. You play it through. When you get to 14, you jump to the end. But I'll bet you can play this song first time right out of the box, no problems. And then it's just a matter of getting it as smooth and as pretty. You're not supposed to be fast. It's supposed to just be as pretty as you can get it. And there's only two. It's technically 3 chords, right? But it's mostly E minor and B7. I guess there's an A minor and a C in here that sort of sneak in on at the lower part, but not a ton of chords. And you want to pay attention to bass, clunk, clunk, bass, clunk, clunk, and then every once in a while he puts in a treble melody, dun, 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 and that's what makes the song sound nice. So you'll be able to play this one right away, I think, especially after doing work on some of the other stuff we've done. So, all right, 7:10, kept you too late. Have a wonderful evening. You guys are great. Thanks for being here, and I think that's all I know about. So that's all I know about guitar. By the way, at school he's killing me. He's giving us such hard stuff to do. I'm learning how far I have to go. So that's where we're at. But this song, when I started, one of the other newer members of the group played this, and I was like, we're playing that song. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful evening, and I will see. We'll see. I think the next guitar thing is next Tuesday, right? So check the website, maybe Sunday, and see if I've been able to get some stuff up. And obviously, tell your friends, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.